hopping into the draft. Controlled heavy brawling. Yeah, that makes sense. Or even you could split brawl, you know. You distract the enemy team with your brawling while you controlled macro somewhere else. All is permissible. But of course, you do have to follow the pick Blaze win game rule. We'll see. We'll see if they heard of that rule or not. All right, first ban of the series, just straight into the Stitches. Stitch is strong on Alterac Pass in particular because of the walls that protect the objective that are right next to a fort. It's very easy to get yourself killed in that manner. So, and as well as Misfits may have shown a liking to the Stitches. I'm not 100% sure on that. But followed up by Stukov ban. That usually surprises nobody ever. Varian. Alright, Tank Squeeze. It appears. So with Varian banned, I wonder if this will be a Johanna ban. Or if the teams will just make me look like a fool and not pay attention to Johanna. But if Varian's out of the picture, Johanna's always strong, even into Varian a little bit. Like, yeah, Varian can shield shatter, and it does open up ways to blow up Johanna, but with Varian out of the way, I feel like Joe could be a pretty strong game one pickup here. But let's see if that's in their game plan or not. If not, it would mean that ARAM would miss out on the Varian in terms of a... Okay, they did hear about the pick Blaze win game rule. Poppin' fresh, choosing that Blaze instead of something like a Johanna. Johanna's still open. Maybe these teams are just gonna ignore her. We'll see. I know a lot of teams, you don't get to play Johanna at competitive all that much anyway, so you end up, with your style not revolving around her. So maybe it's not that surprising that she's going through here. But Junkrat picked up as well as the Anduin. Junkrat's going to be kind of a terror in terms of poke and zone control. There's lots of little corridors that he can mine off or trap up, as well as just generally poke the objective safely. All right, Modus Trollin picking up that Anubarak and a Vala pickup as well. So lots of CC already for all random, all middle-aged right here. Anubarak has 2 non-ult stuns. Blaze contact stun is incredible. So yeah, like that could set up some pretty heavy CC chains just there. And Anduin on the other side could pull somebody, save at least one. We'll see how it goes. Anduin's always a tough one to, it's a tough one to blow somebody up on when they've got an Anduin. Okay, Rhaegar squeezed out as all random all middle age will look to secure their healer. So Johanna does make it into the game in some way. She gets banned in the second round. That didn't take long to choose Mei though, so Nathaniel, perfectly happy to pick up that Mei right away. And Zagara picked up on by Lone Wolf, so I mean some pretty good macro potential already from Misfits. Junkrat can do his own version of macro just fine. And then you throw Zagara in there, and they still have a slot that they could allocate to even yet another bruiser if they wish. Zagara kind of flex, not another bruiser, but a bruiser in general. Zagara can kind of flex that. All right, Genji Lucio picked up, very cool. So spicy pick there on that Genji. I'm not sure if that's been a season-long thing or something that they've pulled out for the game one of the big game, but either way, this should be pretty interesting to see the team of all random, all middle age go for these engagements. And they do indeed have a better engage than Misfits does if they want to just look purely at a fight. But Misfits has the tools to disengage as well. They've got Anduin pulls, Junkrat mines. Mei is known for her zone control and her kind of counter engage ability. And that final pick going over to Deathwing. So yeah, lots of Deathwing being a global. Yeah, let's get into it. This should be good. I like both of these drafts. Different styles, for sure. I think it'll be on all random, all middle age. It'll be on their shoulders to try to make these fights happen a little bit more than it would be for for Misfits. Misfits will have at least some advantage in terms of the ease at which they can wave clear. They definitely have better wave clear. But that's not to say that ARAM doesn't have decent wave clear. Blaze is a good wave clear hero. And Vala has a little, but they'll have to pay attention to it a little bit more. All right. Alrighty, let's look at this. What do we have? On the left side for your grand finals, Division D grand finals, we have all random, all middle-aged. We have Muffin Man playing that Lucio. We have Juggerob B, BB playing that Genji. Modus trolling on the Anubarak. Barber going to be on that Junkrat, and Poppin' Fresh on the Pick Blaze win game hero. Over on the other side, we got Misfits coming in. Nathaniel picking up that Mei. Lone Wolf on the Zagara. Joe DeMortal playing Anduin. Wyagon playing that Junkrat. And finally, Hexblades on your favorite dragon, Deathwing. Both teams doing a little handshake brawling in the middle. We've got it is W build picked up for Vala, so she'll be looking to stack here. I don't see any other level 1 stack quests. Is this a Beetle Anubarak? It is. It's a Legion of Beetle Anubarak. Nice slide engage on a Poppin' Fresh, but Blaze is pretty tanky. He gets out. Muffin Man takes a little damage, but no big deal. And they generally just walk away from each other now for the moment. Vala getting a few stacks there. Hexblade's going to take the bottom while Zagara takes top, and looks like Misfits is running a wanting to start in with a 1-3-1 setup. Not on their own camp yet, though. ARAM has gone to their camp. This is going to be a slower camp than... I mean, it's faster than Misfits in terms of... Oh, I missed the Zagara kill. Nice gank up top. Sorry for missing that one, but Barber and Modus Trolling able to get in there and do a little cheeky gank. However, I will say it is Misfits that is getting the best of ARAM just in these first minutes, because this is a lot of this is a lot of wall damage to happen just because nobody was there to push them back at all. And so all random, all middle-aged Null camp is going to come up now, but Junkrat and crew are going to be very quick at doing this. Yeah, so that camp is already matching, and they got a lot of this wall damage. So good job Misfits in playing that early game manual wall damage there. First time Wyagon's... I hope I continue. I don't even remember how I said it. Hopefully now I don't start saying it wrong. Modus Trolling does go and engage, but just looking to do a little poke. As these camps in the mid are getting cleaned up a little bit. So Zagara going serrated spines at 4. That's an interesting pick in my mind because I normally am of the opinion that that talent never stacks enough to be worth it. But now we see it, and I will have to keep an eye on it and see how much damage that actually adds in as the game gets later on. In the meantime, though, we've got an aggressive ARAM pushing in, trying to do some damage and stack up that Vala a little bit. Blaze, in the meantime, pushing forward just a little bit, but Hexblades is not having any issues defending that for now. But yeah, you can see Genji up here in the top lane is not, I mean, unless he just gets a gank on Lone Wolf, it's not going to be that easy for him to wave clear and push Zagara away by himself. That's going to be a tough, just kind of a slow burn on that wall, I think, up top lane, as long as it goes on like that. Both teams going to get these camps again. These camps spawn all too quickly, in my opinion. Genji does get killed, I assume, just trying to do what he can to engage this up here. I'm missing all the kills this game so far. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Report the caster. All right, a little bit of brawling here. ARAM has more people, but so far, Misfits has not decided to back up yet. They're fine, just pushing the enemy away right now. Blaze has to be top lane to deal with this Zagara pressure. I mean, both teams just clearing the camp again. That's going to be the story of this map, I think, for a good while. Teams just keeping up with that camp timer. It does not take long for them to reset. Look at that. It's like only 26 more seconds and they can start getting the camp again. In the meantime, a kind of defensive burrow to stop Nathaniel there from engaging. And the poke from Misfits is starting to do its work. It's just a lot to keep everybody topped up when those Junkrat bombs and everything else from Blaze. I mean, the dragon, Deathwing coming through. Nobody die. I'm gonna go peek top. Okay, it looks like Poppin' Fresh is just doing everything he possibly can to keep Zagara off his structures, but it's going to be tough. Yeah, Genji is going for a gank up top. Meanwhile, this fight in the middle. So Lone Wolf may get killed here. Does. Blaze is able to pop him at the very end there, but that does leave. So good kill on the Zagara. Took care of that Zagara threat for now. Oh, nice timing on that pull from Joe to Mortal. This 3-man of ARAM is sort of doing a great job of protecting this 3v4 there for a while. And, I mean, now Deathwing's being annoying, but, yeah, so Misfits was 4v3 there for quite a little chunk of time, and they were able to channel a good amount of it, which I'm sure they're fine with. They realizing that all they need to do is, you know, get one pick, and that'll be enough time to complete the objective. But a good defense setup, 3v4 defense by ARAM there. And, you know, Zagara is susceptible to getting ganked like that, as we just saw. But I don't know. You know, she's already back. She's gotten the whole wall up top and a little bit of the fort. So I'm not sure if killing her one time is going to be a. Yeah, it looks like ARAM wants to do it again. Yeah, that's not a sustainable solution unless you just continue. Unless you're just able to continuously kill her, and not have that be. Oh, nice X-Strike, but does get caught in the night. Yeah. Holy smokes. All right, big fight going down mid as well. Mei is stuck in the back here, but it's going to be Hexblades coming in on the Deathwing to cause ARAM to scatter and try to leave. I think everyone's fine. They're going to be able to get out, but yeah, both teams are just doing their best to. They're doing a lot of brawling, but then also ARAM is trying to find time to send somebody top and deal with that that Zagara pressure. That's just, so far, that's been the theme. Nice fear, but nothing to really follow that up. Vala's going to be able to walk out of that just fine. Yeah, not being able to have Blaze in these fights, I mean, you'd have to match Zagara with something anyway, so it's not really like Blaze is fine for the job. It's just ARAM would probably like to have that CC chain available to them. But it's still early game, and I think they're doing just fine. They're only falling behind in some structure damage, not really falling behind in soak that much. ARAM is kept up in soak by a good amount. They've just lost a few towers here and there. Poppin' Fresh doing a little bit of baiting, trying to get Lone Wolf to step out there, but I think Lone Wolf smells the trap. 13s are going to come a little bit earlier for Misfits as they look to finish out their 13-second timer here, potentially. Motostrolin uses that cocoon on Mei, but Mei's going to get burned out of it really quickly by Deathwing. Each 4-man squaring off. Misfits taking their time because they know they have that Zagara advantage top. This is just classic manipulation of their superior macro comp. And this is what ARAM needs to do. They're going in heavy. They're looking for a fight and looking to win it quickly. But nothing's decisive just yet. Lots of fire damage coming through from Hexblaze. Barber is on that Genji and trying to do everything he can to... but, yeah, I mean, Misfits just came out of that above half health and they just backed off. All the while, Zagara's up here top getting a whole fort. So now the question is, does Zagara join? It looks like she does want to join for this fight, maybe. Or in the future, I wonder if Zagara will stay top to pressure all the way deep into their base, or if maybe that will open her up to too many, gank opportunities. I would say the latter. So Misfits able to stop it at about 8 seconds. This fight will likely be decisive one way or the other, I think, in terms of who gets to channel this. ARAM is right now the lower health pools and having to back out. They're getting pushed back at least a little bit. Muffin Man doing his best, but oh, that ice wall does catch him. What is that? Lucio tries to get away. I can't imagine he survives that. No, indeed. Looking for a counter kill. We've got ARAM doing their best to try to find a counter kill here, but Misfits just shoring it all up. Oh, Blaze does find, coming in from the bush and does find a counter kill onto their Mei. Good job there. That is what they needed to push Misfits off of this point. I think if Misfits had been able to get that Mei out of there and just tap, they would have been right back to recap it. Meanwhile, up top, we have the Null, what's this guy called? A Reaver minion coming in. He's the equivalent of, in other maps, the catapults or the ballistas, siege minion. But yeah, I'll be interested to watch this Zagara and see what happens with her now, because I don't think Lone Wolf will be able to just shove top. Maybe when the objective's top, he could probably just do the same thing that he did and just do it to bottom lane, and that would work. That'd be fine. Oh, Motus trolling. Nope. You got a Deathwing in the sky just watching that, and if Deathwing fails, Wygon's Junkrat will be able to poke. There's just, it's going to be hard to sneak this. And by hard, I mean basically impossible. You're going to have to fight him over it. Yep. So here comes Deathwing landing. Genji is out front, has to use both mobility moves to get away. No more available. He is stuck in that ice wall as Misfits is pushing up, but Junkrat's fairly low in the back. Nice contacts done onto Nathaniel, but there is a leap of faith used to pull him back to safety. Back and forth fight here. Both teams using their cooldowns very effectively, I would say. What's left available? Junkrat's ult, and that's it. Junkrat's ult is that rocket ride. He has more patience than I would. I would definitely probably have popped that rocket ride by now. Modus Trollin's in a lot of trouble here. Not enough mana or not enough cooldowns to burrow out of that one. And here comes Misfits to finish off. It was 0.3 seconds, by the way. I didn't notice until just this second how close ARAM got to finishing that objective. 0.3 seconds. And the crazy thing about this map is that it doesn't matter at all. That like, there's 0 points given for getting 99% of this objective. No difference whatsoever. So, all right, you can tell this is a competitive and pretty high level game because the first objective was only taken 13 minutes 30 seconds into the game. Usually, you know, in my home Storm League games, we're probably on objective 3 by now. And that's just because everyone keeps dying. But yeah, Misfits is going to have, I mean, the Junkrat, the Deathwing, the Zagara, they have tons of siege potential to go along with this turn in. This is going to be really difficult for ARAM to to defend in an efficient way. Like, this is not what ARAM's comp was designed to do. They were designed to hopefully win each objective. It's going to be really tough for them to have the AoE clear for this. But it's not super late game just yet, so looks like they will indeed keep at least these keeps, keep their keeps as Misfits starts to work on the top one. I mean, Misfits could probably stick around or even int for this. Oh no, I think it's going down anyway. That fire is going to be enough, yeah. Oh. Nope, Misfits back it up just in time, I think, so that keep does not go down. It has 1,200 health. Maybe a little bit of a slight error there. I believe Misfits could have finished taking that with that flame breath and still gotten out just fine. Or even just stuck around and done Junkrat bombs. But either way, I'm sure they'll, ARAM will enjoy the respite from not having, that additional Reaver minion coming down the lane every single wave. But I believe Misfits will be looking to finish that off as soon as they can get someone around there. Do have 5-man top. Both teams not willing to allow the other to start the boss without somebody there. If there's any Deathwing players that know, well, you all probably know more about Deathwing than I do, but if Deathwing were to offlane, they're sending Zagara to offlane now, but I guess what I was going to suggest is if Deathwing was offlaning, how long in between beginning his fly mechanic to landing is it? Like, can you do it within 10 seconds, or does it take a little bit longer to get up in the air and then back down on the ground on the other side of the map? But either way, this is 4v5 for Misfits. They're going to want to be a little careful, but they're, well, I say that, and they get a kill onto the Vala. But they have some people getting low. Deathwing flies way behind the enemy team. Bunker is used. Nice triple stun by Nubarak there. Doing his best to try, but there's just not enough. There's not enough DPS coming through to get any of these kills. That is, yeah, with Vala gone, there's no way. I feel like that's going to have to be a retreat. Modus Trollin, unfortunately, not able. Oh, does get a shield and a burrow. 10 health. Oh, Junkrat chases him down. Okay, meanwhile, let's check on our friendly, not so friendly Zagara that just took an entire keep during that fight. I mean, like, even if, I mean, obviously it's a huge, that's a huge power swing for Misfits there, winning the 3v4, I mean the 4v5, and also getting a keep with their offlaner. Oh, I missed a kill on Junkrat. I mean, onto Zagara. Looks like Lucio chased down. Too much chatting, not enough watching the minimap. Oh, only 10 to 12 seconds from fly to land. That's not too bad. You could offlane and then still be there for a fight with Deathwing then. Like, that's not that bad. It's not as fast as like a Dahaka where you come in right at this perfect time to go use your your CC, but either way, this is big time advantages for Misfits. They've got a keep down. They've got a boss that's definitely going to kill this keep. And so, and they have their level 20s, although I feel like ARAM will get their level 20 in time to defend this next objective. Especially with Misfits setting up this next boss. I wonder if this boss is really... No, I guess it would be threatening to the core because there's two keeps down and they have every single wave is building Reaver minions. So if this boss plus Reaver minion waves builds up enough, it actually would, I think, kill this core eventually. So this might just be... Although I don't know, if I was ARAM, I would... Yeah, I'd get this level 20 and come fight, because I don't really think ARAM can... If they give this objective, I don't know. I don't know if you can defend that or not. I don't think so. But, I mean, I don't know what choice they have. They could leave the boss now. It's half health. Okay, yeah, I think that is what they're going to go do. 15 seconds, they're going to have to kind of beeline it here. And you hate to have to rush into a team fight like this and click the objective at the same time, but that is what they're going to have to try to do. And this corridor here is going to be tough. Deathwing's going to fly right into that. Nice stuns, but it is a Nubrak falling first. That's objective granted over to the side of Misfits. Val is falling. Zagara does fall during the chaos. Oh, Light Bomb just missing. Papa Fresh just dodging that just barely. Genji, missed that hop, but does have the thing. I don't think Genji was still slowed, I think, from Mei. So it is getting chased down a little bit. It's not going to matter. This is going to be, for sure, the end of the game here. Unless something crazy happens that I don't see, but... So yeah, well played, Misfits. I don't know why I was saying mischief. Misfits, good, very well controlled, and I imagine well communicated play on that game one. But we have lots more to go. It's a best of 5, so go ahead and switch over to the game summary screen. Check out some of these stats. First of all, we had Vala doing admirable damage, 74k. Zagara actually getting quite a bit too, probably from all that brawling up in the top lane, doing tons of damage, just poke damage. But yeah, the story of that game was macro, and also just really well done in balanced team fights. Misfits had the better. They had the 4v5 win in that kind of second to last team fight. But even ARAM 3v4 fought off Misfits at one point during the game. So yeah, that's a tough map when you don't have as much macro and wave clear as your opponents do. So we will see what happens with that. And we'll look for the next lobby here. Go ahead and put a point over to Misfits. Alrighty, just waiting for the next lobby to pop up. Thanks everyone for sticking around, and we'll get this next game underway. I'm trying to think what more to say about that last game. I think ARAM played it well enough, but it was a tough draft for them. They had the Vala Genji was just not enough wave clear when things got dicey, I think. The Vala tried to make up for it a little bit with the W build, but yeah, it was just really hard for them to deal with. The Blaze could stall Zagara just fine, I think. I don't think that was too much of an issue, and they did successfully gank Zagara up top at least once, but it was kind of early game, and it didn't allow them to really get anything else on the map. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you saw something that I hadn't touched on, but I think it was kind of just a really well played macro comp that Misfits put together. And I say macro comp, but I mean they were really difficult to deal with in a team fight as well. They had tons of poke. It was difficult to engage on them. Their team had mobility, and with the Mei and Junkrat and the Deathwing, they could really punish anybody that, if a Nubarak dives in and he has no more mobility, they can punish that super hard if the engage didn't go just perfectly. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Sorry, getting a little distracted, chatting in in lobby a little bit. Our next map, by the way, we can input that into our little thing here, will be Volkskaya, and it is picked by Misfits. Misfits gets the pick, and first draft will go over to all random, all middle-aged, as makes sense. So, okay, Misfits picking Volkskaya. They're obviously different maps, but they're both large maps. The biggest difference I can see is that the objective on Alterac Pass is, at least in the levels 1 to 19, is way stronger than the early to mid game protectors. Now, a super late game protector just has a lot of hit points, and it's really good in a team fight. It can kill heroes, but I still would say Misfits might just play this in a similar fashion. Just have a lot of poke and have your advantage in macro. But ARAM has seen that now, and they know, I'm sure, what they need to do to try to counter that. So if the draft starts to go that same way, I think ARAM will have a little bit of a different idea here. On the other hand, it is a better objective in some ways to have a good brawl comp. Everybody's obliged, or at least some of the team has to stand on the actual point. So if you're coming in hard attacking, they can't stick around and still hold the objective. So we'll see how it goes. There'll still be a lot of racing for the camps to get those turrets and maybe even the heal camp going. There's another thing that ARAM could have more of an opportunity to play an early game aggressive style and actually invade some of the stuff over on Misfits side. If they look to do that kind of, four-man dive aggression, like it seemed like they were trying to on the last map, on Alterac Pass, you can't invade that null camp, but you can invade the turret camps on this one. So, yeah, I don't know. So we'll see if they stick with their guns and stick with the sort of an aggressive style. I think we're just waiting on one to finish up with in-between match activities. But we do have everybody present in the lobby, so it shouldn't be too long before next game start. I wish I had recorded the previous game. We could be looking at some film right now, going over the team fights. We'll have that for the next game if we have some time in between the match. I'll start a recording. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Oh. Let's get into it. Volkskaya. I believe this map is new to this season, is it not? I don't think it was around in season 14 NGS. I could be wrong about that. I feel like it's new though. Or maybe my team just never played it. Okay, Alarak taking out immediately. So that's definitely from some research. Alarak on this objective certainly could be scary. It's not that many places to hide in a little box that you have to stand in. Sticking with the Stukov band over on the side of Misfits. Hexblade says, "Let's go Misfits. East Coast equals best coast?" Question mark. Everyone always talks about the East Coast versus West Coast, but what about that center coast? I guess that'd be the Gulf of Mexico. Texas coast. So Alarak Kel'Thuzad banned away from Misfits. So yes, that's gonna leave quite a few options up for both teams. Honestly, like there's no. I mean, Stukov's taken out, but there's no other healers. So you still have Anduin, you still have Rhaegar, you still have Lucio, Brightwing. So healers are not squeezed hardly at all. Hogger being the first pick. So ARAM making good use of their first picks, in my opinion. The Blaze in the last game was high value for his part, and Hogger is a very strong hero as well. So, but Misfits loving that Anduin, gonna stick with that. I think for the most part, yeah. When you win a game like that, and you win it pretty decisively. Oh, they're banning out skills, yeah. So skills 9/12s comes into the game, and maybe they've spotted that hero pool is a little bit different. So, and perhaps scary. Muffin Man picking up that Rhaegar with Greymane picked up by Jugger Rob. So, but yeah, what I was gonna say is Misfits. I think for the most part, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Kind of applies. To some degree, you still have to play off of what your opponent's picking and banning, but yeah, nice. So they're respecting the potential for this dive comp to come in together with a Nubarak, and gonna go ahead and remove that from an option. So I wonder what all middle age is gonna want to round out their comp with. I would say with what's left open, I could see them running Muradin, or maybe just a Varian. Varian's pretty good into the May. If after level 13, you tell your team you can just blow her up as soon as she goes into shield mode. You shatter it. Anduin has to pop cooldowns. I don't know. It's an idea. Ooh, Kerrigan picked up by skills, and Lone Wolf going to be on that Gul'dan. So pretty cool pickups there. That's two high damage heroes with some good CC on them. Kerrigan, obviously, everybody knows the combo, and depending on her ult, she can add an additional stun. And then Gul'dan Fear is pretty top tier in terms of team fight CC ults, or even just for picks. So, all right, I forgot about Diablo. Of course, Diablo can be a aggressive enabler here. So we've got the Diablo and the Li Ming played by Barber. Diablo on Modus trolling on Diablo. So I mean, I like ARAM's comp. It looks very nice. It's very aggressive with Hogger taking care of some of the macro. Rhaegar also good at camps, good at wave clear himself. Yeah, ARAM has better wave clear this time without necessarily... they're still a team fight comp, but their heroes just have more wave clear this time. Just in general. So I like this comp a little bit better. On the other side, though, Wygon's going for that Zul'jin. So that's we're gonna be looking for that to be kind of the late game threat. I'm gonna be watching the stacking and how quickly that gets done. With the style comp that ARAM has chosen, I feel like Zul'jin will, unless he gets killed a lot, he's gonna have targets to attack. If he's not the first one attacked and killed, like if he hangs back a little bit and lets May peel, whatever. There's not really, if Diablo wants to play the game, he's gonna get attacked. So Zul'jin should be able to stack pretty well here. All right, I'll start with Misfits this time. They've got skills playing the game this time. Going to be playing it on that Kerrigan, and had a couple of respect bands picked up right away. Lone Wolf going to be on that Gul'dan. Wygon going to be playing that Zul'jin carry. Nathaniel on the May, and Joe DeMortal on the Anduin. On the left side, Aram looking to even this match up. We have Poppin' Fresh picked up on that Hogger. Barber going to be on that Li Ming. Juggerob going to be on the aggressive Greymane and Muffin Man on the Rhaegar. And Modus trolling on that Diablo. Diablo going for the Soul Shield at level. I always thought that was called Spell Shield. I guess that's just what people say, but it's Soul Shield. Either way, what else we have? We have Colossal Totem picked up by Rhaegar. On the Prowl by Hogger. Force Armor. Viciousness. Okay. All looks pretty good there. Hogger's going to go down bottom to face off with Lone Wolf, it seems. So I guess the 4-man up here is going to, for Misfits, is going to try to stack Wygon a little bit. Gul'dan is perfectly capable of wave clearing and self-sustaining in an off lane like this. Like, if you don't have to stand on the point, Gul'dan can just off lane forever one-on-one. There's no problem. As long as it's not ganked. He is going the Chaotic Energy, the suck build, which does not suck. It is actually really good. The Drain Life build. Does mean that he'll stand still for a good portion of a lot of the team fights, but we'll see about that. That's just my own assumption of that, how that plays. Bone Slicer picked up by the Zul'jin. Okay. Yep, everything else looks pretty good, pretty standard. Yeah, Hexblade says all random has a solid comp. They do. This I didn't hate their comp last game either, except that as the game went on, everyone realized that they had trouble with wave clear and dealing with the macro. But this one is just as aggressive in some ways, but it has a lot more wave clear. Also, it is this map definitely plays differently. All right, a little bit of a engage on a Nathaniel up here, but I think May is just going to slide out of there, no problem. Misfits getting this camp of assault troopers. Assault troopers, those are Vikings. Why don't they just call them Vikings? But anyway, they're getting that pretty early, although Aram is matching it as well now. This is a good camp duo here. Rhaegar and Greymane can take anything at any point in the game, super easy. Yeah, it's a big map for Genji. That is true. So teams just poking at each other's camp that they got here. Looks like Aram will knock down the camp first, and Li Ming's going for some aggressive poke damage on the wall there. Is able to get out just fine, but did take a little bit of chunk. Meanwhile, Lone Wolf and Poppin' Fresh are kind of even down there, although Gul'dan being half health is kind of like, that's kind of his mode of living anyway. But he is running out of resources slower than Hogger will, I think. Hogger has... It may not matter. Lone Wolf's going to have time to go now, and looks like a turret got popped down here that I didn't see that happen. Maybe to chase Hogger off or something like that. Okay, so some manual damage coming in from Aram here on the bottom. Very good. Like to see it when the enemy has the objective and you don't necessarily need to get on it right away. It's good to do some macro damage, some structure. Just have to always pay attention to where enemy is, which they are. Poppin' Fresh is keeping eyes on them as best he can. So Aram kind of knows that they are 4v1 here at least, or they won't see this rotate until skills is there, but they still see a few. Yeah, now they've sniffed it out now, so they're starting to back up. Juggerob's kind of low, and he is backing, so Aram needs to back up a little bit. But that's the entire wall and like 75% of the fort. in exchange for the first protector, which, in my opinion, is fine. Like, that's this first protector is kind of not great. It'll still do some damage here, maybe the whole wall, but I imagine ARAM will be able to clean this up just fine. Yeah, this is a good move by Misfits. They're going to move and try to do some manual damage of their own here on a wall while they're distracted. And Juggerab is up here getting some extra soak. So, yeah, I think both teams are making good decisions. They're trading structures, they're trading soak opportunities, but it's stayed fairly even so far. I think even, I believe ARAM may have got the better of that. Definitely got the better of that, actually, now that I look at the... okay, so Misfits did get the wall, but one thing I'm looking at is Zul'jin only has one stack of 5 basic attacks on enemies, and that's Kerrigan falling there. But yeah, Zul'jin has not been allowed to attack enemy heroes that hardly at all this game so far, and that is exactly what ARAM wants to do. In the meantime, though, still another good decision by Misfits. They've realized that they've lost their opportunity bottom, and they're trying to make the best of it. Papa Fresh going hard on that engage. Yeah, the fear is used. I'm not sure that Wygon might have got out of that anyway, but it was. I mean, I would have always. Yeah, that was a good time to fear. Like, you got to save your teammate. That was a scary moment from the Hogger there. What is that Gul'dan fear cooldown anyway? 80 seconds? That's like medium. It's, I don't know. If 60 seconds is kind of like your average short cooldown for an ult, 80 seconds is kind of in that middle zone. Think about like a Mosh is 120 seconds. What else we have? We have Cursed Bullet, Wave of Force picked up, Shockwave that we saw, Ancestral Healing, and Lightning Breath. So it's a W build Lightning Breath Diablo. I love to see it. It is my favorite Diablo build for when I play. That's mostly because I'm not good at the Q builds or anything, but it does come online at like 13 and 16 though, a little bit more, the flame build. You get like debilitating flames and then the one that gives you spell power, and then Diablo can become a real nightmare for a team fight. He can build up his own spell power, reduce everybody on the enemy team's movement speed and damage, and then he just sits there and lightning breaths you for like, I don't know, what does it build up to? Like 20% more damage, 30% higher? I don't know. Something good. Good things happen when you hit the enemy team with a bunch of flames. On the other side, by the way, we have Ice Wall picked up by May, Summon Ultralisk, so additional CC picked up by Skills. Yeah, we saw the Horrify, Tazdinga picked up, and Light Bomb. So pretty standard, except for the, well, I mean, Ultralisk is standard, but I see both picked, so you just never know which one Kerrigans are going to do. Ultralisk is very good. Fear used trying to catch Barber there. Sorry we missed that on the bot. I'll get rid of the talents for now. But Barber was able to not hit it at the angle that would put Li Ming too much in danger there. ARAM is up by, I don't know, 75% of a level so far. And they've made a fast rotate up here. Greymane, yeah, Hexblade says Greymane off build, keep Greymane off buildings. Greymane is eating these buildings, but it's not just him. It's also the entirety of ARAM is making very quick rotations, almost just kind of forcing Misfits' response. Like, Misfits is responding properly, I think, and is going ahead and go and like trade forts instead of trying to walk across the map to defend it. But they don't win in the long run on this. Like, in terms of straight base race, yeah, that definitely, that power goes over to ARAM's comp, which they've realized, or they knew So they took this bottom fort, and then now they're going to try to maybe make it in time to contest this. Yeah, APOC, I think you can do APOC even with W build. It's just that, in my opinion, I don't think it goes the other way. I don't think you should go Lightning Breath if you're not Flame build. But if you're Flame build, I think you could still go APOC. I see people do it, and I don't really see a reason why you would, why it wouldn't be effective. It just enables that Lightning Breath so heavily as the game goes. But Motostrolin is having to cut his Lightning Breath off short here as this fight gets a little dicey for ARAM. Yeah, so that is Greymane barely going down there. Drop the turret. Oh, turret gets given over to the enemy. Diablo just stun locked just enough to where he wasn't able to get rid of that there. Healing item used, and this is Misfits on the attack now. They are plowing through that, and they look angry as a, I don't know, what's angry? A hornet's nest that you punched? We do have two members of ARAM in the Protector doing some damage on the mid wall, but that I believe this 4-man can do at least wall damage just as quickly as that Protector can. We'll try to bounce between the two. Oh, here comes Zul'jin to come get his... Zul'jin can get some free stacks on this Protector. That's one of Zul'jin's superpowers. Let's see what Zul'jin's at. Yeah, Zul'jin's so low in stacks. He needs every bit of this for the late game. I think at this point, Zul'jin's just not going to be that stacked this game. And Misfits is just going to have to win the game without that. They're going to have to play team fights knowing that. I could be wrong. Maybe he'll get some crazy stacks going later, but just in terms of at this point in the game, it's not that easy to catch up with Zul'jin. So you can only attack so fast. But that's okay. Zul'jin does other things. It's not like Zul'jin doesn't do damage anyway. And he does, and he has a... Let's see, did he go net? Yeah, so Ensnare is a great talent, added CC. Between Ensnare and I don't know, they've got hard CC scattered around their comp, which is really interesting. If they can get it to line up, which I think they did somewhat in that top fight at the end of that previous Protector. Yeah, Zul'jin Q build for Siege. Yeah, I'm not much of a Zul'jin expert, so maybe that's the way. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it here. I just know a little bit about his. If you're trying to stack him heavily, it's just not being available for him on the way that this map is played. Yep. Percent damage at 16. Yeah. Yeah, so percent damage doesn't care about stacks, it just does percent anyway, so yeah, that's true. Alright. I think ARAM has been playing this fantastically, but Misfits has responded in kind and has kept this game, I mean, almost exactly even at this point in terms of keep damage done in that last trade.
I'm starting up an exit.
Oh, I guess there is one fort that exists for ARAM that would say that they're winning the macro, but I'm not sure that matters all that much. And it may even fall when people start rotating bottom anyway. It could matter a little. There's some catapults that spawn because of it. But here comes a siege from Misfits. They don't like that this tower exists.
Access terminal online. Secure it to activate the protector.
Yeah, I like to see it. This is the type of game that is just well played by both sides. Both playing their comps like I think they wanted. And it's just going to come down to late game fights. That's just how these close games go. Yeah, ARAM taking their time, not necessarily getting overly worried about that fort. It's really when it gets this late, those forts don't matter. It's just, if it's not a good fight, there's no reason to force it. Okay, but here comes. All right, the camp goes over, but the turret has not been picked up yet. Poppin' Fresh is getting annihilated by damage there. Turret's still on the ground, but here comes Jugger Rob. He does pick it up and drops it. Very nicely done. Quick fingers there as Kerrigan goes into Cocoon. So it's a 1 for 0, but I think that was Jugger Rob that was able to swipe in there, pick up the turret, and then drop it and save it from going over to the other side. So even though that was a 1 death loss for ARAM, and they lost their turret, I think there was a turret dropped for Misfits as well, so not that bad, not that big of a deal. Both teams are going to be 20s here pretty quickly. And in fact, yeah, ARAM getting this healing item up here is going to be a pretty good advantage. Let's see how much damage Misfits can get in the absence of... Oh, no. Oh my gosh. We're going to see some base racing again. Both these teams just... They just want to race each other. This mid keep will go down for... yeah. ARAM's going to burn through that mid keep, and they're going for top keep now. We do see 4 members backing from Misfits now, maybe realizing that they didn't like that trade all that much. Lone Wolf, he wanted that last, these catapults, they just don't pay him enough. They get distracted shooting these little tiny minions. If they'd have just shot the keep one more time, then they would have earned their keep. Earned their pay. But he does a good job. Gul'dan does a good job of getting out of there alive. And level 20s. Let's look at the level 20s. Hellgate picked up by Diablo. Yeah, that's good. I don't get to see the troll 20-second lightning breath, but that's fine. I'll live. AoE ancestral healing, very good. Power spike. Don't see that. I guess. Yeah, I don't really see that often, but it's good. I mean, reducing armor and what does that else do? Oh, okay, you get shockwave up more often. So, Hogger going to be able to shockwave more often, and it reduces armor and grants rage. No, that actually sounds pretty good. What else we have? Level 20s. Upgraded Wave of Force for Li Ming, and the Human Blunderbuss for Greymane. Looks like Misfits is sniffing out some... Skills gets interrupted by Hogger here, but... Yeah, I guess ARAM is looking to backdoor a little bit. Not sure how effective this will be. Yeah. Misfits saw that coming, and I don't know that ARAM has an advantage in a way that would allow them to siege into the core like that, especially not without Hogger. It does cause everything to reset a little bit, and Hogger gets on the point. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of the plan. We'll see. Hogger's in danger a little bit, but he is Hogger. Doesn't have Hortipult, but it's still difficult to catch Hogger. And he's going to be fine. Where is ARAM going? Where do you go? Where are they going to go around again? Oh, 30 seconds on the heal camp. Maybe they want that. This is going to go over, though. This 75%. Oh, they're looking to base race it. So we should see recognition and backs right now from Misfits. Yeah. Oh, if Poppin' Fresh can interrupt these guys, even a couple of them, he got one. He got Nathaniel. Oh my gosh. Big damage onto Greymane. Greymane dies immediately, and this fight has gone sour right away, I think, for ARAM. Skills coming in. Nice combo. Good peel from Modus Trollin, but the Ancestral doesn't go off in time on Rhaegar, so Rhaegar falls. Modus Trollin, I don't think, gets out of this. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that this was necessary for ARAM to try to force that core. I think they could have been. They could have just chose their fight down here. But instead, we have the Protector being picked up by Misfits, and they'll be able to knock, like, this is a 1 health keep. They're going to go straight to core. I don't know. Is it late enough to where this is unstoppable? Or can ARAM put together enough damage on the Like they're only getting attacked from one lane is the good thing. Their top lane, if you look at the minimap there, has pressure actually mounting. So this is all up to the Protector to go and do the damage, and Abraham just has to hold out and balance their damage between the Protector itself and the heroes. Nice shockwave there to peel from Modus Troll. Modus Trolling gets full health now, but the shield is gone now. Yeah, this is going to be it. They're burning the core too quickly. Aram tragically going to fall here, I think, unless they get all these kills right away. No, that is that is Misfits getting a core kill after that defense that they had. GG, well played. Yeah, I that was rough to watch, I think, a little bit, because I don't think that there was a reason that Aram needed to do that. They had all their keeps up. I mean, yes, top and bottom keep had like slight amount of health, but they still had advantages in the lanes for cata pressure. Yeah, it was just they went for the long, they went for the Hail Mary when I think that they didn't need to. But either way, it was a good defense by Misfits. Oh man, if Poppenfresh had like walked in 1 second earlier to that area and was able to interrupt everybody. Like, imagine if if Hogger no controlled into the 4 or 5 members of Misfits trying to back, and no control just bounced on everybody and stopped everybody. I think that would have been game. That would have been game right there. But I mean, this is all easy to say from afar and in hindsight. A lot harder when you're actually in the match and you've got to make a split-second call, decide what's best for what your team can do. So, yeah. But still, I think that match showed that Aram can definitely play with Misfits and yeah, I expect to see that was a very good game, and I expect to see another one at least as we get into the third game of the match. Let's go ahead and put up our point for Misfits, and we will wait around to see our next lobby. I'm going to take a little water break. I'm starting to trip over my words with my parched mouth, so I will be right back. Alrighty, almost there for this next game. Let's see. Our next match is going to be Garden of Terror. Picked by Misfits again. They are comfortable on these macro, larger maps. Although I will say ARAM played that last one up until the last decision to go core. I think ARAM was in the driver's seat in terms of macro and, well, not. I mean, I don't know about in terms of team fight necessarily. It was kind of back and forth in that regard, but the macro and the trades were definitely initiated by good ARAM rotations. And I suppose you could say they continue to dictate the rotations even into the end because they forced Misfits to do a 5-man back. And like I said, could have gone differently if those 5 people backing all on that point had gotten interrupted. That would have been insane. But it did not, and we are now 2 games up for Misfits, and the last chance for all random all middle age to make something happen here on Garden of Terror. Macro heavy map again, as I've said. Oh, let me get us into a draft view here. I guess one notable thing about Garden is that there's no bosses. No bosses, just lots of camps. And the seeds have little protectors so that it's a little different from Cursed Hollow in terms of that, because you can't easily sneak it. Or not sneak it, but you can't just show up and channel it without doing a little bit of prep work first. So the enemy team has slightly more time to show up and delay the objective on Garden as opposed to the way the objective works on Cursed Hollow. We do see skills playing again, so we're going to have an Alarak ban once again. Stukov, yep. The bans are looking the same as the last game. So far, anyway. I've just realized that there hasn't been a single game so far that has been like a true off-lane double soak map. Like the double soaking is pretty rare on Alterac Pass, pretty rare on on Volskaya. And I'm pretty sure it's almost unheard of unless you're like Vikings or Samuro or something on Garden of Terror. So I don't know, I just find that interesting that Misfits has picked a bunch of maps that are not typically able to be double soaked. But maybe that's a way to keep ARAM on their toes, trying to figure out how to rotate. Which I think that they actually got. They're like I've said this a couple times, but ARAM's rotations on the last map were very good. So, all right, Blaze picked up by Poppin' Fresh, and then followed up by Nathaniel taking that Hogger. So, the S tier offlaners are getting some attention in this match. Brightwing picked up. Very cool. Brightwing is, in my opinion, super OP. Polymorph is just disgusting. Racecar Dahaka, great for double soak Garden. Yeah, you can do it to some degree, I guess, but it takes a little while for a race car to get super fast, and it's still a big, like it's still a long ways to go. I guess you can have a double soak meta happen on Garden, but at least for me, I don't see it as often as I would on like Dragonshire or Towers of Doom. So okay, Vala picked up by Barber and Diablo played by Modus Trolling again. So yep, solid picks there. I mean, yeah, nothing to say. These are just all pretty high tier heroes being picked up. Both sides. Johanna's not banned out or picked yet, but I have a feeling that neither team really cares. Okay, Aram goes ahead and gets rid of the Johanna for the next stage. Zagara picked up by Lone Wolf. It had a lot of value in that Alterac pass game. It was not fun for the Genji and then the Blaze to deal with the Zagara, just constantly shoving in another lane. And a Nubrak picked up by Joe DeMortal. So, I mean, is this going to be a 1-3-1 where you have Hogger in an off lane, Zagara in an off lane, and then you have your 3-man run around? I think that's kind of similar. That's basically what they did on Alterac Pass. All right, Aram looking to round out their comp with a Sanya and a Deckard. Deckard's an interesting pick. I wonder what that's necessarily for. You have to set. I mean, I guess if your plan is to arrive to these objectives early, Deckard definitely can set up. Okay, I guess you could see like if Diablo and Blaze went for a heavy engage, and then you've got the double bruiser basically with the Sanya as well. She could leap in. Then Deckard is just more CC on the ground. So maybe that's the plan. Malthael picked up likely Malthael's just great to play into Diablos. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'll be watching skills on this one. And it's even better when you have a lot of high health bars like Sanya. I mean, Sanya and Blaze are they're fairly high health bars. You'll get value. Blaze will have that bunker to hop in, and people can clear Malthael's damage over time. But a lot of times it's still just a ton of damage, especially once you get into like the 16 range where Malthael can AoE hit people for like 8% of their health. All right. Game 3 with Misfits up 2. Wait. Oh, I have this wrong on the scoreboard, don't I? Shouldn't be wrong.
Shall open in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Huh. It's kind of messed up on my screen. Sorry about that, folks. I have the proper score put into my... What is a 1 and 1? I don't know. I'm very confused right now. I'm just going to go ahead and cast the game and worry about that later. Yeah, it says 2-0. Okay. All right, big brawl going on in the middle. Both teams looking to hurt each other. Let's see. We've got the Soul Shield picked up by Diablo again. Hogger's going for his cooking level 1, which I'm not very familiar with that level 1 stacking talent. Oh, it's a max health thing. Okay, yeah. That's interesting. What else we have? Regen Master picked up by the Anubarak. Oh, yeah, no, I'm just psyching myself out because I see those 1s, but that's just their level. Duh. Yeah, it's 2-0. I got it right. It's fine. Either way, this is Aram's final chance to pull out a win. I think they were... Oh, nice body blocking coming in. Lone Wolf almost... Oh, 13 health. 13 health on Lone Wolf as he just slides past some of that fire there. Oh, man. Tragic for ARAM on that one, but nice escape. What else we have? Yeah, it's a multi-shot build again for Vala. Yeah, Hexblade said Vala went W, would like to see auto build. I would like to see one of the other, and like, I don't know. I think W build's fine, but I think the other two builds are just more fine. They just do, especially like Q build does a ton late game. It's bursty. Auto build is kind of good all game, but it does have its big power spike at 20. Well, Q build also spikes at 20, but W build is just kind of like good the whole game, but it's not, I don't know. In my opinion, it's not like game changing. W build Sonya. Yeah. Full slam. That's going to be, I mean, oh man, it's got to be leap, right? Unless maybe they feel like they have enough CC already and they're just going to go for... Yeah, nice. First blood onto the Anubrak there. ARAM is out for blood early. There is actually a world I could see where you don't go leap, but I think it's leap. All right, a potential gank coming up here on Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, I don't think it'll take that long before he realizes that, yeah. Able to see them with the vision there, but even if ARAM had stayed out of the vision for just a few more seconds, I imagine Misfits would have called out missing, and he'd have been out of there anyway. Yeah, Zagara Ding talent. You know what? I forgot to check it after game 1 to see how much damage it actually got. It didn't. Game 1, it didn't matter that much because Lone Wolf, like, he probably actually didn't. I don't know, because he was doing a lot of poke in lane, so he may have actually gotten. Lone Wolf may have gotten a lot of stacks on it. Modus Trolling trying to body block the Zagara there, but too difficult. With the creep, Zagara is pretty fast, so is able to get around that body. Yeah, creep is gonna be a little bit annoying. All right, ARAM is 1-0 on the objective count so far, but looks like Misfits are really wanting to take this one. They've taken up an aggressive stance to try to start poking out. Let me see Malthiel's build here. Malthiel going for that Black Harvest, and then actually Cold Hand at 7, so not going to be able to do the AoE rip health stuff that you can do with the combination of the level 7 and 16. But there, the rip slows is still pretty good. It makes melee targets really annoyed because they're just always slowed. But in my opinion, I always find that one is like better. I don't know, in like a 1v1 situation where you're fighting people that are annoying on Towers of Doom or something like that. But it could just be a preference. It's not a bad talent. And what do I know anyway? But yeah, let's do some math on Serrated Spine. Someone in the comments just, how many does it take to get her attack damage? Well, I guess so 1% takes 5 autos, right? Is that how that works? Against a hero. And her auto damage is, oh, I don't know how to pull that up on this. Oh, her auto damage is 123 right now, so 1% would be 1.2. That scales, though. So I don't know what it would... I guess you'd have to know what her auto damage would be at 20 to know exactly how many autos makes that kind of worth it. But you give up, like... I think you give up the Poison Spine for it. Alright, big fight coming here. It looks like Misfits has the advantage. They're just able to hold that front line there even though it's a triple melee for ARAM, ARAM's just not pushing into the health bars at all that I've seen so far in these like 5v5 kind of brawls. Both teams are going to hit 10s at almost the exact same moment, though. Brightwing went Emerald Wind. That's an interesting one. Hogger looks like he went for Shockwave. Zagar's getting chased by Jugger Rob here. That is going to be just, yeah. Those Blaze stuns feel so bad, or lack of stuns feel so bad when you stun right behind their butt. But a counter engage comes in now. Cocoon going out onto the Deckard. And here's APOC going down. Okay, Blaze is caught in the maw, but Diablo is out of there. And now it's Muffin Man on that Deckard going to have to try to self-heal his way out of there. A lot of people, let's see what's going on. Jugger Rob's probably going to be a goner there, yeah. But I think the rest of ARAM is able to make it out of that one. It was so close. Like, it's so tragic when Blaze goes for a stun like that while the other person is moving, and it just misses. That happens to me so much. I mean, everyone's up again, though, and a lot of cooldowns are used, and this is on ARAM's side, so this still, even though that fight went poorly for ARAM, they have all the potential in the world to make this a nice stand for their first objective. So a stun goes out, followed up by a lot. It is Leap, so yeah, it's just stuns for days picked up on the side of All Random, All Middle Age. They also have the Stay a While and Listen, the Leap, the Rain of Vengeance, Bunker, APOC. It's all the stuns for ARAM, and I love it. You could see there, Hogger did not get a chance to play the game there after the first stun. He just, I mean, it took a lot of, of cooldowns to make it happen, but happen it did. He died. So, yeah, nicely done there. Nice aggressive play there by ARAM. Diablo going to be in the maw there, but shouldn't be an issue, really. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more for a little bit. APOC used Rain of Vengeance as well, but... Okay, there's the deck. Oh! Malthael realizing that that Blaze did not have Bunker, or likely didn't have Bunker yet, was able to get a kill with that Last Rites. And Barber falls as well, so Malthael stacking that Last Rites one time so far. Zagara is at, what is it, 5.6%? No, wait, how does that work? 10%. 10% damage. Auto attack damage. Oh, man. Anubarak's big stuns, but I think the team was on two different sides of that fight there to get those last kills under the fort. Okay, but ARAM has the top fort dead. And just, you know, some random damage, wall damage and stuff on the middle and bottom. But that's three garden charges used. I would say that's... Sometimes I wonder if it's even good to get those really early garden... I guess it is still good. Like you hope to be able to push with them and maybe further your early lead. But when it doesn't work out, it definitely feels bad because now you got to work back up to it all the way to 3. What else we have here? We saw the Cocoon. We've seen the Shockwave. We've seen most of the ults. Looking at Malthael's Soul Siphon. Yeah, not a fan of Soul Siphon. I feel like it's like not that big of a... Although, I guess the Soul Siphon's coming in because there's triple bruisers, so there's like fairly high health bars on the other side, so maybe that's probably fine. Here comes a lots of stun onto the Hogger once again. Hogger gets insta blown up. And Deckard stops the other two targets from leaving. Here comes Wygon with the Emerald Wind to peel for the remainder of this team. That's very good use of Emerald Wind. It's such an interesting thing that Brightwing has decided on this map, and I think it's actually a smart move to go Emerald Wind in a lot of sense. So Modus Trollen gets blown up there, and I'm sorry, I said Modus Trollen, but it's I'm used to seeing Modus Trollen on the Anubarak. That was actually Misfits. But skills, yeah, this fight is just getting messy on both sides, but it looks like Modus Trollen and Barber are able to get out, get a few heals, and about half the bottom fort taken down by ARAM. So, what else we have here? Sonya went no escape, and then Giant Slammer, going to have that percent damage. Vala taking that Gloom at 13, very good choice. Always good to get a Gloom. Has great passive value, just 15 spell armor all the time, and then, yeah, it's a little bit of health per second as well, and then it has the activatable. All right, APOC used to try to full stun lock skills here. Oh, Emerald Wind started to work, but it was just too much damage coming in on Malthael. Yeah, this APOC Leap Rain of Vengeance combo, it only comes online every like 80 or 90 seconds or whatever. What's APOC's cooldown? Every 90 seconds, but it's strong. It's basically enough to blow up almost everybody that we've seen so far. All right, big fight here. ARAM does not have their big cooldowns in terms of Leap or APOC, but they are still managing to push out Misfits from this objective here. And, yeah, or just keep playing as is and we get game 4. Yeah, see, that's the caster's mentality too, because I definitely would like to see some game 4 action. I'm totally unbiased until a team is, until a team has to win to get the game 3 or the game 5 or the game, the extended games, and then I'm totally not biased. All right, I totally am biased. Yeah, pre-Tim was way different. Yeah, for sure. Like being able to combo this triple bruiser high mobility. I mean, look, you've got 3 fairly high mobility, high stun lock heroes being able to dive your team. Here comes APOC. It's actually Misfits choosing this fight, and they want blood on this camp. They have the advantage so far. Barber's getting stuck, and that's a 2-for-0 cocoon used on Deckard. Poppenfresh has to run. Modus Trollen as well, so Deckard, I am sorry, sir, but no one's going to stay a while, I think, for that one. Yeah, nice aggression there for Misfits. Well, actually, they ran into that knowing that cooldowns might be up, but they had the advantage of the surprise, and maybe they even knew that they had numbers advantage there for just a little bit. Either way, it was a good heads-up play, and now they're getting some rewards in terms of structure damage here. Poppenfresh and Lone Wolf going to fight each other just a little bit, but I think Poppenfresh is going to have to back up. Yep. Look at all this camp pressure coming in from the bottom here on Misfits side. Modus Trollen has a little bit of wave clear, and Poppenfresh as well. Yeah, they're able to distract these Siege Giants, so that shouldn't be too big of a deal. But on the other side here, definitely just going to take this fort for free. Yeah, if it goes better for Misfits if they get the engage. I feel like that's true. That's so true for so many comp matchups. Like when you have 2 comps that are both aggressive, you've got the Cocoon, Anubarak engage, And Hogger as well. Hogger loves to be the one to be doing the diving, not the one getting stunned into a wall repeatedly. Yeah, it really is. Whoever applies the most CC first gets the chain. And we're seeing that a little bit in play here. Also just vision control. Like I think Misfits, unless I'm mistaken, they were able to sort of sneak up on that camp there. I don't think Abraham was ready for that one. All right, just a little bit of poking here. Poppin' Fresh is looking for the leap. Gonna leap in now. Staying while it has a couple people sleeping. 3, actually. Wyagon might actually get out of this one alive. But Lone Wolf is not. Muffin Man is over here on the backside trying to face tank against the Malthiel, and the Deckard were just like running around 1v1ing a little bit. But there's another kill over onto Malthiel. So now Poppin' Fresh is the one low. But I don't think that there's any way for... Oh, swing and a miss from Jugger Rob there. And he gets taken out by Hogger and Brightwing's attacks. Wow, what a close fight. That was crazy. And it's still not even over. Sonya does miss with the spear, and that is a level 20 upgraded composite spear as well. So it reduces enemy... Oh, no, wait. Oh, it grants armor. I don't know. For some reason, I always thought that reduced their armor, but it grants her some armor. 25. Let's see. Hellgate picked up by Diablo. Joe DeMortal does get the final turn, so this will be... Yeah, this will be Misfits' time to shine, and it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Is like you'd almost much rather have your turn in come late game. If but I don't know. It could go either way. Abraham trying their best to find a kill there on the backside, but Misfits is able to escape, no problem. And yeah, just a big defense getting set up here for Abraham. It actually shouldn't be that big of a deal kind of defense. Like it's going to do some wall damage. It's going to do... Well, that's probably it. It's probably going to just do some wall damage unless Misfits is able to really apply pressure with their actual team. Yeah, burden of execution. Dingo. Yeah, that's 100% a thing. Yeah, like it applies to some heroes that I understand it. Like a heart of a hero is, the more it's on you to perform on it. Whereas you have other heroes that are just kind of good at everything. But I could also see it in terms of like, if your team is the one that has to make the plays. I think this game is these comps are so much more even though. Oh my gosh, look at Nathaniel got away with like 20 health there. Able to spin out, trying to get some value with those range attacks as Sonya does fall. This fight is looking better and better for Misfits. I think Abraham needs to call the retreat here if they're even able to. Yeah, I think they'll be able to. Muffin Man is doing tank Deckard things. Oh, nice Blaze Stun. Nice Modus trolling into the Blaze Stun. Very good, but does get traded out. Diablo's back up. And, you know, it takes a little bit with W build to get your souls back, but it's not really that bad. I don't know. I wonder how long on average it takes to get your souls back per build. That'd be an interesting thing to know about Diablo. So Zagara at about 20% attack damage. Let's check on how much damage that actually is. So her attack damage is 237. So what's that? About 46, 47. Let's just call it 50 attack damage for 20%. That's not too bad. I mean, I wonder how that compares to the other options in that talent. But 50 attack damage, you think about like Zul'jin stacks when he's at 50 attack damage, but he attacks a lot faster than Zagara, and he's that's kind of his main role, so it's a little bit apples to oranges, but still 50 attack damage per auto is not it does something. It's just maybe not as much as the scaling for that poison talent in Venom Spine. All right. Poppin' Fresh getting pretty low here. Here comes a staying while. It's only going to be on Jodo Mortal. Leap coming through. Brightwing gets felled pretty quickly. Lots of stuns. I can't even tell what's going on. Malthael kills Sonya. Barber in the bunker. We got a lot of people in the bunker that are low. This could be rough for ARAM. They have to get out of the bunker now because it's dead. And yeah, they're kind of. Oh man. Yeah, it's almost a full retreat now, as Diablo has to die, as well as Blaze. And is this enough time to finish out the series? I think it is, especially with this middle Kata pushing. They're going now. Took a second. Skills is actually going back. Okay, maybe Misfits is not. Well, maybe they're ending, but they're just ending while also getting bottom, just in case. But I think this is going to be pretty decisive. This is going to hurt. I mean, there's only one camp actually back. There's no Kata, but still, look how fast this core is going down. I think that's going to be it. Leap going down onto the Zagara, but the core goes down first. And GG Misfits have won it 3-0. Very well played, very well controlled. ARAM putting together some very intense counterplay, and I think in game 2 I think that was actually their game to win. They had the advantages and everything, and you know, you can look at the score here, 11 kills to 14. Even this third game just came down to the last fight. Could have gone either way. Both teams just doing a really remarkable job playing their heroes, and a lot of those fights were so back and forth. It was incredibly hard to tell who was. It was hard to cast too, because both teams popping their cooldowns so efficiently. It's hard to know which one is winning out until the actual deaths pop up. but either way, we're gonna pop up into a lobby here and see if we can find some Misfits players to talk to us about what happened in this match. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, we'll hop into lobby 3 and I will send somebody a message.
Hello.
All right. We are joined by Nathaniel. How you feeling after that? Oh, we're joined by more.
Oh yeah, we got the team.
Oh yeah. That's what I like to see. I was like, okay, I could work with this. I talk to you, but grand finals, it's cool to get everybody in here. All right. How you guys feeling? Your hearts are racing?
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
A bit.
Yeah, they were tough. They were very strong. They were very good.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was so much fun to cast. And like really, really even games for the most part. A lot of back and forth fights. How did you guys feel just overall about the encounter with ARAM?
It was fun.
We did our homework. I watched some video on them, and we had a plan that worked out for the first game really well, and we implemented that. In the second game, I think they tried to do the plan against us, and then we had some great calls by Wolf and really good adjustments made by our team halfway through. So everybody was doing their job. Like we all really pulled together and made it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you guys, as good of a defense and even a lot of aggression from ARAM, I think you guys kind of had your cool intact the whole time. I never saw too many moments where, or maybe any, where you guys truly seemed like you were thrown way off your game.
I don't know, my heart was pounding. Somebody commenting about heart
Yeah.
attacks.
Yeah, I was
agree
gonna go to cardiac arrest after that second match. I was just getting like
The
yelled
only
to,
time- Like in the
Turtle.
games, it was fine. The only time that we're like, "Oh shit," was when Nate excitedly picked the Hogger immediately.
He wasn't supposed to pick it immediately, but he was
We
just
were
so
like,
ready.
"What are you doing?"
So
Yeah, it's like, Nate, run the clock down. Oh, okay.
Yeah, instant lock. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think tonight was like the first time we were really questioning on what we wanted to run. Because like everything was a guessing game. Like I was constantly telling Nate, like, don't tell him we're ready. Like, don't tell him we're ready. Like I don't know what we want to do here. Because like every other team we verse, we kind of have like a rough idea, like what we want to play, what we want to run, what's gonna work. You know, how do we switch it up? Three back-to-back games, we were like, I was like a mess in my head to think like, what's gonna work here? Like we can't run the same stuff. Like what are they gonna fall for? What are they not gonna fall for?
Mhm.
Like with what
Well,
they're
to be
showing us in
fair,
the first game.
Like, yeah, the
So-
first game we planned out though. Like Joe and I were scouting and talking a lot in our strategy stuff, and we came up with a good plan, I think, for the first game. But it wasn't just going to keep working. So, like Wolf said, we were on our toes for the rest of it.
I could only work off what you guys feed me to because I don't look into anything that they do. I make adjustments like
after the
literally
first game,
minute
it
of
was-
the game starting.
it
Pretty
was more of
much.
a matter of like we knew what they were good with and what they had a hard time against. But
Was one of those things that they had a hard time against macro pressure, because your game one was very
Yeah.
macro intensive.
They pretty much. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that was it.
I think that's what Nate and Joe confirmed to me about. Because again, I don't look into the teams; they do all the homework.
Nate
so shout out
knows
to
that.
shout out
Yeah.
to Nate and Joe, you too, because you kind of co-plan on like what to ban. And
Yeah,
all
we
that.
co-planned on that.
So that's your kind of wheelhouse. But when it came to like, you know, what do they run? Do they run double healer? Do they run double frontline? Like, how often do they look for ganks? Are they crazy aggressive? Like, do they, you know, cover their backline when they dive in too much? Blah blah. Like all those specifics. And from the first game, like, from what they were telling me, they like to gank. I saw it. I saw it hard. Like their Blaze and their Genji were all over me top the whole time.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of what we just had to do. We needed to keep 3 mid, 1 bot, 1 top, and just kind of like we can't play their game. Like they want a team fight. They don't want to play the macro. So we had to play that way, and they didn't adjust. They gave me bot fort. They gave me bot keep for free, and they got like no kills top, and they just didn't want to play that game.
Yeah, you guys actually won that 4v5 top while Zagara killed the bottom keep. So there was like kind of, I think it almost would have been fine even if, like, even in a world where you're like, well, we're 4v5 and you have to back off and they get the boss, but then Zagara gets the keep. Like that still would have been worth it. But you guys winning the fight and winning the keep was kind of like
insanity.
Yeah, maybe not a nail in the coffin, but it was like one of them. It was like ordering the nails.
Skills said it too, like, because he wasn't there that first game. I think we had Hex.
Yeah, I was watching. Yeah,
We had Hex, and the Skills came in saying, like, yeah, you guys kind of broke their mental game. Because I think, like, that's legitimately what they wanted to do. They really wanted to get ganks to kind of throw us off momentum, get the kind of level advantage so they wouldn't have to soak so much. And considering we were just playing really, really safe, I think that just was really aggravating them. They just refused to leave top, hoping they could get a wipe, because they were kind of hoping for it. Because they couldn't deal with the Zag pressure.
They're really playing hard to kill people.
They had like
really
no
good
lane
combo
pressure either.
TC, follow up. Yeah, they're practiced at making their stuff land and then following that with damage. You could tell in the videos that they were really good at, you know, making sure CCs count. And when we were playing them, we felt it too.
I mean, I was kind of
Absolutely.
shocked that they didn't go auto build Vala into Deathwing, because like without it,
Yeah,
I
that
really
was
I could just
shocked.
roam. I mean, like if there's 3 of them, I'm like I can walk away from this, you know. So it's a little bit of a interesting situation. I don't know if they've played into a lot of Deathwing. We weren't gonna take it game 2 just because you know they'd seen it now, but I got to watch game 2 and 3 on your cast. Thanks again for casting. I do want to say one of your members pointed out burden of execution, and I think that's one thing that Misfits never has to worry about because we don't execute combos. For
No,
better or
not
for
really.
worse.
Well,
Because you get that dependency, you know, and
I
they
think-
were laying them down game 3. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, game 3 definitely. I was gonna say I think they were warming up to us the first game with like ganking potential because they didn't really have too many like ult chain combos going on. It was mostly kind of make a window open for Genji to come in. If Genji can't get a kill, all right, everybody pull out. It's not happening. Blah blah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because we have a Deathwing right there to stop like any type of other engagement.
Honestly, like game 1, from my perspective, it was kind of like, for one thing, the Vala Genji, in the absence of Blaze, right? Because you guys have Zagara pressuring a lane, and basically Blaze is the only one that can really deal with that effectively. So Blaze is out of the team fight. Without him, it's very difficult for a Nubarak to provide enough of an engage to really get kills with Vala Genji. Like, it just doesn't, because Lucio doesn't stun lock anybody either. So I actually think that their draft, you guys just won the draft pretty hard and then executed it super well game 1. That was the way I saw it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
we had Hex in case we had to have a lot anti-CC because Deathwing can't be CC'd, and we've seen Hex.
And Nate and I planned the draft of game 1 hard, as
Yeah.
we said. Like
And then
the
game
next
2
2 games, we weren't as sure.
Yeah,
Honestly,
game 2
we were
was...
probably going to go Ming. We were going to go Ming in game 2, I think, right, guys?
Yeah.
It ended up not playing out because they took it.
Yeah, they
yeah.
took it. I liked their game 2 a lot for the map that it was on, and in fact, I think that they. Okay, so game 2, I'll give you my perspective, and then you guys tell me how I'm wrong. But the way I saw it is that they were controlling the rotations, and you guys were having to respond to their rotations, and I think you guys did a good job responding. But they were quicker, and they were getting forts, and you guys were trading the forts, but it happened like,
That they were always faster.
few seconds
They were
later.
definitely faster, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
their Dre-
yeah, so
we
you
found out
guys,
that their Dre main was taking out stuff faster than we could with our
yeah,
Zoljan.
they
We
were
weren't getting
burning.
stacked with Zoljan.
We
So we
tried
were
it
kind of in
twice,
trouble with that.
and both times I was like, yeah, we can't do this anymore.
It was
Uh,
very
yeah.
much a
Quicker.
guessing game on what they were gonna do. Just from how they played the first game, it was really like even first objective. Like I think we had 4-man on the objective, and I was watching bot, and they were all there. And I'm just curious, like, no, stay there. I don't think they're gonna push this. Oh crap, they're pushing this. Okay, come here. So like, it's just very questionable on what they were gonna be doing. And we trade top for bot, blah blah. And obviously they could do more damage with the gray main. But I think, yeah, like I was even thinking like for the last objective, like keep everybody on it and have just me go back and kind of just wave clear them out a little bit because Hogger was trying to keep them from backing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we just, I was kind of hoping we could just have them stay there, kill the Hogger, and then they leave and we get the objective for free and we just go.
Yeah, there was a scary moment where you guys were backing with everybody on the objective, and Hogger showed up kind of like.
He stopped me like 3 times. It was so annoying.
Yeah,
I knew what he
yeah.
was gonna. I knew what he was gonna do,
And
so I just had to move.
Yeah, I stayed there with May at the end because he went auto build, and I'm like, well, I'll just blind him, and he's not. It's going to take a long time, but he's going to eventually leave, and that played out because they cleaned up top. They cleaned up top really well because they got a bunch of kills.
Y'all killed
honestly-
Greymane immediately in that last fight.
Oh yeah. I think honestly, we probably should have lost that game.
It was so
it was
close.
really close.
It
Even
was
though-
so
being legit.
close.
I think
I
when-
felt like we were fighting from behind the whole time, and we just
Yeah.
kept, like you said, we were keeping our cool. We kept thinking, okay, what has to happen different? What's the new plan, guys? Make sure the calls coming
We-
out, and we.
Did
it
you?
happened. Dude,
I really liked just the musical chairs and the protector at the last push.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The healer got
drive.
friggin' taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like all 3 games, like it was very much like I was telling them like they like even the first game from second game, like their second game team was like, all right, they're way stronger and way more aggressive than they're going to be in the first game with that team.
Oh, yeah.
Like with a Greymane, with a Diablo, like no question, they're going ham this game. They're not pulling any punches. And we still kind of had to play like on the backseat. We like that was the whole play. We kind of wanted to make them make all the mistakes because it seemed like they were very fidgety. They like that Diablo was charging underneath tower the whole time trying to get ganks, and that's what I was really hoping to get. And sometimes it kind of worked, other than us just kind of rotating 5v5, taking down towers. But I think at the last push, we legitimately would have lost if Wagon didn't listen and start autoing the Diablo.
Why I was having I was going into cardiac arrest because I was like, I'm at 1 HP, I don't have Testingo, and the core was at like 1 HP too. I'm like, I'll just
No,
auto
the thing is at like
Dude,
the thing was
I
at like
think-
50 HP. And
I
you
don't
went
know
to
if the
go
Diablo
core
would
it.
have went down without the light bomb. It gave you like just enough shield to take his ass out.
Well, that's the
True,
thing.
yeah.
The thing was at like 50 HP, and like Wagon was going in to go do damage, and Diablo just like ran back and just tried to stop us. So I'm like, dude, auto the Diablo, or I
I'm
can't
full on,
help burn this core. Like
I'm on
we
like
have to kill this
90%
dude.
health.
And we
I
had a
do
tower
percent
pushing too. There was a siege camp or something, I think, pushing top lane, or there was something pushing top lane
Like,
on
we
our
were-
core at
we
the
were
same
also-
time. We
Yeah.
were gonna lose if we didn't have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like you were definitely gonna win that race, but there was core pressure coming top.
Yeah, like if we went there, we would have lost.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why I
but-
kind of need Wagon to get the Diablo off me, so all 5 of us could be hitting the core at the same time.
My health,
Like, he
my
had
health
to
was
leave.
150. It was crazy, and I played like, but it was fine. But
Yeah.
Yeah, the Brightwing had really good disengagement.
emeralds,
saving,
I know it's crazy.
Good emeralds. Great job.
Finally.
Yeah, game 3 was
How
one
many
or
years
two
ago?
We would have had
mistakes
a bad
away.
time as Karazin, man.
Huh?
Oh, I would have had an atrocious time on
Oh, it was Karazin?
Oh
Dude,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
Yeah, I think
We should've-
game 3 was almost the like in some ways it was the closest.
It was the hardest.
It was
It was
definitely
the
Definitely
hardest.
changed
There-
momentum at
it
the
was
end.
definitely a fight.
Yeah.
Like,
They
question.
their CC, their oppressive like CC chain when they had it up was it was oppressive. like yeah, it was APOC into leap and then like Rain of Vengeance
Sleep.
and burst.
impressive.
Yeah, like
I kind of
The
threw on
impressive
my level
CC chain
13.
was
So.
impressive.
I'm so glad I went Brightwing, honestly. I have claims.
He's
And,
so
like-
happy.
This guy going like, I want to go Kerosene. Kerosene's way better.
Yeah,
Everybody's
we
going
talked
for
him into it.
Brightwing.
Like,
Oh
yeah,
god,
Brightwing
thank
was
god I
good.
took Brightwing.
Yeah, no, I literally I count the Sonya, the Blaze, and the Diablo.
Well, it's a
I'm
good thing we
pretty
were
sure-
here, or else you would not have been on Brightwing. So.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
definitely.
sure last series, just for the East Coast finals, I talked him into Brightwing for like all 3 games. So I'm kind of surprised that wasn't scouted out.
Well, I like the
Also-
Karazim, but not
I like
against all
the-
the CC. with.
Karazim's fun
If we want to
because
dive and kill and chase, yeah,
My
Karazim
level
all day
20
long.
Emerald was, I mean, like I got to watch the last
it's
one,
what
and it's just
saved
like,
all of us.
oh, so many emeralds.
To be fair, I also should have went unstoppable level 13, but I said, it'll be all right. I was just
last
being
game,
stupid.
we also had like new faces because same thing. We still didn't know what we wanted to run, and considering we were taking Guard and Terror, Nate brought up the good point. We should take the Hogger because they're gonna want Hogger. They're gonna want the camps, obviously. So we wanted to steal the Hogger, which we got, and then I counter asked, do they play Sonya? No, they don't play Sonya.
No, they
Pick
don't play
Sonya.
Sonya.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, they
But then-
don't really. If you look at
No, I
what they
know.
play,
No,
they-
I believed you. I was just like, I was still feeling it because, like, if they're not getting Hogger, they're getting something for camps. They have to.
They were getting a lot of great leaps too. There was one time where I was watching you guys, and there was like all 5 of you could have been leaped, and I was just like holding my breath. And she still got like 3 of you, but I was like, Joe Clump, like from the sidelines and scream. I know you guys can't hear me, but I was like, all right, I gotta talk
Oh
to
no,
these
I was
guys
saying the
later
same
on.
thing, but it was very like it
Yeah,
was
same
very
as me,
touchy,
too.
just around like corners and stuff. We just had to rotate really well and stay on our side of the map. Having the Malthael was a huge help too, because
That was
I did
very
not,
last minute.
I didn't expect 3 frontline like at all. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that fight was definitely hard. There was a point where like I just had enough, and I
Yeah,
just like
true.
flipped a switch in my head, and like the
said,
game
"Oh,
just
no."
shifted to a tier, like
Yeah.
another tier completely. Like we were like where first game where we kind of broke their mental game, they broke us a bit.
Yeah,
Like,
Wolf was
we
like
were a
actually
mess.
mad. He was like, I just like screw this. He was like, oh screw this, we're just gonna do this instead.
Oh yeah, like
You said, I am done. We're going bottom
Yeah.
lane. We're
oh yeah, like
As
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
if
VC.
you stick with us, yeah.
like I was yelling at him like a mother, dude. We were all like no, like friggin' I think they got like they just got objective. We burned it. They beat us in a team fight. They got the first seed on their next rotation, and then I was clearing bot. Everybody was scattered. They picked off Skills' Malthael mid, and then Nate's all the way top lane doing siege. I'm like, what are we doing? We need calls here. What are we doing? Forget it! Forget it! Like, everybody clap out right now. We're getting this camp.
Pretty
We're going
much.
to Bruiser, and once we killed the Bruiser, the entire game switched. Our momentum just like shifted right in. And we had power at that point.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wish one of these days I'm gonna figure out a way to like where we can set it up where we can hop into these comms for like the grand finals or something, like they used to do in the CCL.
You
and
don't want
stuff.
to. You don't want to hear our.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you do
want to
not
hear
wanna
it.
hear the
I
comms.
want to hear it. It'd be
No,
hilarious.
you don't.
It would be hilarious.
It's mainly just me and Skills fighting the
Well,
cat.
Just yelling.
Dude,
I
we're
don't
gonna
think it's
do-
ever.
Oh,
I don't
man.
think it's ever been like that before. Even
Like-
like last championship, like we were feeling ourselves, we were doing pretty well, but I don't think there was a moment like last season or even in this season, like during games, where like we were so incoordinated, where I just like had to like kill myself for a bit and revive myself and be like, all right, get
Yeah,
this right
pretty
now. We're
much.
doing this. Like flip
Wolf
it
got
now,
Wolf
immediately.
got he got like abusive for like 2 seconds.
I'm gonna be real. Like
It wasn't.
I was-
we're talking
I
about
was
too much.
beating
It was a good call, but
it was. He was going crazy. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna need a pardon if this dude doesn't calm down with what I'm about to say.
Like holy crap.
Our comms are insane, so just be ready
Yeah,
if you
our
ever
Oh,
listen.
and like but like
Aren't they
he has,
hacked?
like-
Well, it
and, like-
worked
and, like,
out
a
for you guys.
skill.
Yeah.
But
I think it's better on like a quick match. That's just
Yeah, they definitely gave us a huge fight. It was the same thing. Like we looking at their comp, obviously again super aggressive, like crazy combo potential. Then they had the first game. They were way coordinated with the leap, the charge in, the sleep, the APOC, blah blah, all that. So, but we definitely had the sustained game going on, especially with the Malthael, the Zag damage that kind of outpoked them. So it was
Yeah.
a fight.
It was, a lot of 3-0s. It's hard, it's crazy because you see if someone didn't watch these matches and they came in and were like, "Oh, Misfits 3-0'd them." Okay, cool. Well, it didn't tell the story. Like there was so
it's
much.
not the story.
Yeah,
Right,
there's so much.
absolutely.
Like even though you I think you guys should be commended for being able to hold it together and get those 3 wins in a row because they weren't given to you. There was a tough matchup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
drama.
yeah,
There
yeah.
was
It was
drama.
tough. Like ARAM was a tough team, and you guys were
They
able
were
to
very good.
3-0 them, and that's no easy feat. So I congratulate you guys on your victory, and I don't know. I'll leave the floor to you guys if you want to make any last comments or shout outs.
Nope.
Good team.
You said that last time.
I know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nope.
Nope.
You don't even have like places to be.
Huh?
Like Wolf has to at least like the little mail after this or something like in the morning.
What?
I'm not trying to be I'm not
Yeah,
trying
he's
to be
gonna
rude.
be
But,
mailman at midnight. Okay.
I'm not trying to be rude,
Yeah.
but can somebody translate?
Well,
I know, I-
someone call out their, shout out to my mom or something.
Well, I always shout out my
Cringe.
team. Like having Hex, having Skills, having Nate sub out whenever we need a new plan, not run the same stuff, rotate it out a bit. I think that definitely helps having Hex because we didn't have a substitute. I know we had Halo, but she didn't really sub in.
We had Halo.
much.
She was
Yeah.
filling the what we needed, but she didn't have the hero pool like Hex does. He's got a lot of stuff that we haven't
Most-
showed yet. So.
Most of the time last season, I think Halo came in like once. I think this
Pretty
season we had
much.
Hex and Skills, Nate subbing out a great amount.
Oh yeah,
I
almost
think
every single
that
match.
I think that helped out a lot, but huge shout out to the team just because we're all like you said we were kind of broken down the third game, but when we get together we wreak havoc. Like we're really coordinated when we have to be, We listen to calls where we get where we have to be all the time to fix whatever's not working.
We listen to calls. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Shut up, skills. But also, like, definitely shout out to ARAM's team. Like, definitely,
Oh yeah.
probably, like, definitely absolute championship fight. Like,
Definitely.
by far, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, we really, like, not only, like, I think our defense was just stronger than their offense just because we just played it, had them made mistakes, and it just kind of worked out in our favor. Not that they made, like, that their team was bad or made mistakes. It was just like we had to let them come to us type of deal because they had more aggressive offense and we can't kind of just dive in with a Nubrak or whatever. But yeah, just shout out to their team. They played their comp really well. Like trying to get ganks, like even playing as safe as we were, like they were still kind of getting like good picks when we're like right near our walls and they're getting some good ganks.
I feel like the second match is the hardest for me. I got like no stats until.
Well, I felt the least impactful game too. I'll tell you that much. But it is what it is.
But like great call outs for like map wise, like if they're not showing on map, like shout out where they are, shout out where if the Genji's coming up to gank, should we push this right now, push that right now,
We
blah,
were
blah,
all
blah.
doing
So
that. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
everybody-
all three of those maps are maps that we play well too, so that does make
Yeah.
a difference.
like good
Well, I don't
rotation.
know. This is the first time we've picked Alterac Pass. We almost always banned it. But given the comp and given what we saw them coming with, I'm like, let's take Alterac Pass. So
Yeah.
that was
Because
kind
you
of a
can't
gamble.
you cannot take an objective up against Junkrat.
And
Hey,
Yeah,
well, thanks for casting for us.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing this
absolutely,
for the
man.
community.
It absolutely my pleasure. Yeah, this was a super fun. Obviously, and you'll see when you rewatch it that I was rooting for ARAM in that third game because that's what the
Literally
caster.
no one roots for us. Don't worry.
Caster
It's okay.
has to though, because I'm going for like that game 4. I gotta get that game 5.
It has to
Yeah,
be
like
game 4 and 5.
yeah, I
hey,
want to
not
see
gonna
the.
lie, I was rooting for them game 3 too.
Yeah,
so,
even Hexblade switched. So.
Oh no. Yeah, someone
have-
boot this fool.
I was throwing in hints on how they could win. I was like, "Hey guys, if you're watching,
Hey, did you know Nate is weak to this? Gank him here.
yeah, you guys should ban this." But,
So
like, bring me into game 4, boys.
Yeah.
This was the last game. Do we have any other shout outs that we want to throw out?
No, good job, team. Seriously. That's it. I don't have any.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared what y'all are gonna say, to be honest.
Keep wagging along. Man.
Man, I'm eating chicken. I'm not gonna talk.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, like,
Keeps him
Yeah.
silent.
Well, thank you guys for joining me, and
They want me out.
I really enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks for coming in here. Thanks for playing a good game and a great game, and it was a blast. And hope to see you guys in future seasons.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, guys,
Have a good night.
congrats. See ya.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
See ya, GG.
Thanks.
Jeez.
All right, everybody, we'll end the cast there. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed it. That was a pretty epic 3-0. I hope, that's not your typical 3-0. That was 3 well-fought games, so congratulations to Misfits, and I hope to see ARAM and Misfits again next year. Maybe we have a rivalry brewing, but either way, I'll sign out here, and thank you guys.